Hey Royals, welcome to our team kit class for the month of October. I'll be using the Frightfully Cute Stamp set. And if you have this stamp along with me or watch this as a replay and you make this one, you can. I have 4 different cards I'm excited to share with you for Halloween using the spider web in all different ways. So I'm going to hold my flip and I'll get started. All right, so here are our cards. We have 4 different kinds. Let me show you each one. Here's our Boo one using the dies and just one stamped image. Here's a very simple one using the web or spider web to make this sponged web with it. So that's very simple and lays flat. This one's a little bit more fancy. We have the embossed folder. We added some die cuts. This is from the Word Wishes dies that has the happy and the Halloween in it. And I've embossed with that brick 3D embossing folder. And then this one here uses those webs as a background instead of a focal point for this card. 4 different cards, 4 different ways to use the spider web, and there's lots of other fun things for this one. Let me show you the stamp set we're using and then we'll get started. So the stamp set for today is the Frightfully Cute, and I'm not using a lot of them. I'm usually mostly using the cat, the little spider, and the Frightfully Cute and Happy Halloween to You. And I'm using mostly our Memento ink, which is our black ink, and the Gorgeous Grape. And then to make that night sky, I'm using the Night of Navy ink, our Pacific Point, and the Memento. And if you have basic gray, you can use that as well. Let me go ahead and show you the dies though for this one. I'm using a lot of the spiderweb die in lots of different ways. I even have the owl, this label here, this cute little hat, the tree, and then these other ones I didn't use for, I did use this label one as well. So this top row I did not use, but there are great samples for how to use those in the other projects I've made this past month. All right, let's start with the easiest one first, which is the Frightfully Cute Spiderweb Sponge On look, and that uses the Highland Heather card base. So it'll look like this, and you'll open it up and you'll see it's just very simple, your pieces that you have. So I've die cut out the spider web, and it's purple because I've already used it to sponge on. And on the back side you'll see that it is white because this was originally white until I used it. And it looks like I have my Gorgeous Grape here, but I wonder if that's the color I actually used. We will find out because I'm using the Highland Heather card base, so you can use either color you want for your card today. I'm gonna go ahead and use my bone folder to help us with our score, and we'll get this piece. So what we're going to do is just line it up. You don't have to even glue it on. You can have it there loosely. What I like to do is either put like a finger there or even like a pencil and hold that piece of paper down. Go ahead and open up your Gorgeous Grape ink and a sponge, a blender brush, or a sponge dauber. Totally up to you what you have. So I'm just using a sponge that I've cut into 4ths, and so it's like this little wedge. And I usually just like to put my finger right there in that center and start sponging. You just want to try keeping it still as much as you can, and you want to make sure that you're going a little bit over the edge. So that way you have that outline that continues even after. And you don't really need a whole lot of ink, just a little bit goes a long way. We'll ink that up one more time right there. And make sure it looks like it has all of our white spots are now purple. We're gonna go ahead and take this off, and you can see how awesome that spider web looks. All right, let me go ahead and do this bottom one as well. And you can see that I'm not going completely on. You can put it all the way on there if you want, but I like to have it look like it's in the corner. Most spider webs that we see are in corners of our homes or corners in our garages. They're just kind of out there. So ink it and sponge. Last one, I didn't get the center very well, so make sure you move your fingers enough to get that center spot as well. All right. I love this technique though, because we can do this over and over again to create those spider webs with just using one die cut image. Love it. Almost kind of looks like a tie-dye to me as well. So that's a fun idea. Then we also have this part in here. If you wanted to, you could go ahead and do some sponging to the inside. And then this fun purple piece that we've now created, we could totally use that for another card. We could even put it in this card if we wanted to, on the inside here. Because we have created this really cool looking purple web now. Okay. So that looks awesome too. You can kind of see what the difference looks like when it's on purple, and then white and purple together. That's it for this color for right now. Go ahead and get your Memento black ink out. And we're gonna do our spider and our saying. Let me make sure I have that saying handy. So let me grab it. That should be in here. There it is, Frightfully Cute. We'll put that on a clear block. Just like that, and it's ready to go. Okay, so with the spider, you're gonna be careful because it's a very tiny line and it's prone to get a lot of halos. So I like to ink it up and either look at it and make sure it looks clean, or even do a practice. I can stamp it right underneath it and it looks like it's a clean one. All right, we're gonna just take this, double check. Oh, see, look, I have a halo right there. Let me grab my white. I was softer, had a softer hand the first time I inked it. Okay, that should be better. Go ahead and grab a spot in your spider web in the top left corner and stamp down. Awesome. And then let's go ahead and do our Frightfully Cute. Again, you could do a practice run. Looks nice. And line it up over your line. Perfect. All right. Sorry, that loud noise. It sounds like my refrigerator is refilling the ice. It always sounds like a bowling alley and then, I don't know, like a large like waterfall of water coming out. We just got that refrigerator replaced. It was being very cold, and so now we have a plethora of ice, which is awesome. All right, so I just put a little bit of seal on the back of this, and I'm going to attach it to the front. And if you want to, you can totally embellish and add some rhinestones or some glitter. Your Wink Stella would look really pretty on this web as well, if you want to color that in, give it some glitter, or even our little spider. I'm going to grab my Wink Stella real quick. Let me color in that spider. I feel like spiders are less scary when they have glitter added to them. Right? That totally should be a thing. So you can see that. There we go. Just a little bit. So the Wink Stella adds just the glitter where you want. I had a friend who wanted to use glitter the other day on pumpkin decorating, and I was like, no way. Glitter is so messy. Oh, I usually don't use loose glitter anymore. But look how pretty that is. Super simple and would ship really nicely. All right, let's go to our next one. I'm going to save, I think, one of the harder ones towards the end. So let's do this Boo card. This one also uses another set of dies called the Playful Alphabet. It's how we got our Boo, but this label is actually from the Frightful Tags Dies, which is part of the bundle for the Frightfully Cute Stamp set. And so we are going to make a cute little Boo. I have our basic whites, what we're going to attach everything to, and then inside we have all these pieces that I've already ran through my Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. I have a Glimmer Witch Hat, and we have our Glimmer Owl. I believe this paper is currently on back order because it is just so popular and pretty. And you don't need a whole lot of pieces. I used just a little bit for our kit today, and it goes a long way. These are our extra little pieces in a baggie for our letters that we need to glue on after, and we'll set them aside until we're ready. So for this one, we only have one spot we need to stamp, and that is right on our right corner here. And we're gonna do another spider. check, make sure we're not too crazy. And you want to have it coming down right about there, that bottom right corner. Okay, that's all of the stamping for this one. The rest of it is going to be just these dies. Let's go ahead and attach these ones, and what we're going to do is put dimensionals on the back. Either I'm using the mini ones, but you can use any size, and I'm using the mini black. You guys want to start with your center O is what we want to do. Or you can even line it up a little bit beforehand to give you an idea of your spacing. So we have that one right there. You're gonna have where your labels, the point of your labels can touch. And that one right there. Okay, looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and take off the backing of my center one. And attach it. Next one, and if you wanted to, you could have attached this already to your card base. I'm gonna make it tricky for myself here in just a second, but that's okay. This one I thought was a fun idea of keeping it simple and using dies versus stamping. All right, now we have our letters and the insides. And for when you cut out a B, they have those little B centers. So we are going to carefully glue on the B center for the top and the bottom, our O centers as well. I just put a dab of glue. However, I am going to grab my Take a Pick tool. I'm going to use my putty side of my Take a Pick tool. I'll just turn it to make it come up a little bit more out. There we go. And I'm going to use it to grab the pieces. If you want to mismatch your centers for your O's, you totally could. Or you can even switch up the order of where you want these to be placed. Mostly are these little pieces here. The little one goes on the top of the B. Turn it. There we go. And then our last centerpiece here. And just carefully scoot and move it to where it needs to be. There we go. Awesome. Let's grab our cute little witch's hat. We can attach that with a dimensional as well. And this one, I want it to look like the bee is actually wearing the hat. So we're going to put it just over that corner. Oh, let me get that back in the view a little bit better. So I put the hat over that corner there. And then we need to grab our spider web. So you only need half of it. So I'm going to cut off this other part right here. And then we're going to cut it into quarters. Like that. This is how we're going to attach it to our corners on here. Let me get my silicone mat out as well. If you have one, I highly recommend it. It helps keep your surface clean when being sticky and allows you to spill glue. All right, so I'm gonna put those face down and we're just gonna add drops of glue. We do not need a crazy amount of glue because will ooze out. So we're just going to do a couple drops here and there, mostly at the center and along those lines, and then we're going to slip it into our spots. Flip it over and put one in this corner here. You just will have to adjust it and hold it down to make sure that glue catches. There you go. And the next one will go down in this corner. Opposite. You could have it going both top corners, or you even could have cut one whole spider web into halves and then to quarters and could have had a spider web on each side. Totally up to you. All right. Set this aside real quick. Let's go ahead and attach this to the front. I'm going to use just a little bit of liquid glue. And we'll put that on the front of our card base. Let me grab my bone folder again. So when I prep these kits, I do not use a bone folder to help me with the creasing, and so they're just kind of too poppy. So you want to make sure that you do crease it with your bone folder to make it lay flat. Okay. Oh, let's see if I can get that lined up just right. Lay that flat. There we go. You could have used dimensionals if you wanted to add some more pop. I figured since we already had dimensionals on our boot and on our hat that I would lay this one with just glue. However, now we have the inside, these pieces here. So grab your silicone mat again and flip our letters over. These are part of the ones that we just had cut out, and we're just going to add it to this bottom corner, or you can add it to the center. I actually have it on the bottom corner of this one, the boo, so when you open it you see it there as well. Let's go ahead and put it in the center and see what that looks like this time for this one. If you are doing a far on side, you want to make sure you start backwards, so it would be O-O-B then owl. Since we're doing it in the center, we have a little bit more wiggle room, but we're going to start with the O for our middle. I'm going to put glue on all of these so they're ready to go. And because it's liquid glue, it has a lot of wiggle room, so I don't have to be super fast when placing them. Okay, so we'll grab our little O here and put it in our center. Then we can grab our next O and our B. So our cute little boo there. Now our owl, we could put him maybe kind of on top of our B right there. It's like he's flying in to say hi. This little cute boo. Love it. Super easy, just lots of dies and gluing for this one, and just one little stamp image. Kind of fun and colorful, right? All right, let's go on to our next one. Let's do this one. Let me grab this one out. This is our background spider web. We have 3 different spider webs. This one has been cut in half and then quarters again to create that background. And I'm using a gorgeous grape card base. I went ahead and I die cut that glimmer tree out. You can see that it's still missing some pieces need to pop out. You just use your back of your scissors, or you take a pick tool with a sharp edge, and those will come out really easily. There we go. I should be able to grab it. My hands got a little sticky, so now when I touch things, they're sticking to it instead. All right, grab your bone folder. Let's fix this card base so it lays flat for us. And then you'll see in your basic black mat that I've die cut our spider webs out of there. We're just going to cover that anyway, and so it's just a waste. And if you want it like that, see, it covers it up perfectly. So go ahead and add some liquid glue to that Highland Heather piece, and let's attach that to our basic black mat. I will have all these measurements over on my blog, and I'll have those in the links or in the description below, depending on where you're seeing this video. That way they're written down and you won't forget them, or I won't say them wrong. That's more likely to happen, as I give you the wrong number and you try to make it and then you're unsuccessful, and I don't want that. All right, so those pieces are there. I actually was gonna wait to glue on that in a second. That's okay, we'll still make it work. Yeah, we'll be fine, because we're gonna cut the spider webs. All right, I do have some of that black glittery ribbon, which is just gorgeous. It's great for Halloween or almost anything. And then I have these black glimmer pieces that we're gonna attach to our basic white for our center piece. We need to stamp some spiders, and we need to stamp our little label here. Also, we need to attach this basic white for the inside. Since it is a darker card base, make sure you always put in a white insert, and I always just have that size to be mimicking what the front size is here. So this is a 4 by 5 1/4. So it still allows us a border, just a little bit of a border, and gives us a lot of writing space. Those are a must, I feel, if you actually want to write in your card. If you don't want to write in your card, you can leave it the dark color. Or if you have like a white pen, then you can totally get away with it too. Okay, let's grab our Happy Halloween to You from our stamp set. And we will put it on a clear block. Like that. Again, I've been stamping for 8 years now, or even more if you include my pre-Stampin' UP life. Ooh, so that one needs a little bit better ink. And I still like to practice. There we go. Because I am not perfect. And you know what? Sometimes I don't stamp perfectly. But that one turned out pretty good. Like I said, I like to practice to have on a scratch paper or grid paper just to be on the safe side. All right. Let me go ahead and grab our ink and we will ink our spiders. You wanted to have them at different levels of hanging. So just pick the way you want to have it. I'm going to do short in the middle. A little bit longer here. And the longest one I'll have on the last. Right there. So you'll barely see him. All right, that should be all of our stamping for this one today. And let's go ahead and add our glitter to it to help frame it. I'm gonna put just a little bit of liquid glue on the bottom of each. And we'll attach those. Because it's that glimmer paper, I suggest liquid glue is the one that you use. Because it's sometimes really hard to use the double-sided adhesive on paper that isn't smooth. And this has a little bit of grit to it. We'll do the same thing for this one. Just attach it on, giving it a little extra border there. Oh, and see it slides when I use the liquid glue though, so just make sure it dries before we move it around too much. Okay, we'll let that hang out for a minute. And let's put some dimensionals on the back of that so that we're ready when we're ready to attach that one. Probably about just 3, and I'm using the minis for this one because it is a lot littler. Okay. Then we have our tree right here. Let's grab some liquid glue and we can attach that to our little saying there. When I first made this one, I didn't have the tree on it in the beginning, and I was like, it just needs something else. And so I thought this tree was perfect. Gives that kind of cool, scary look to it without adding too much more, and it matches with that black glimmer there. So before I had slid it underneath my dimensionals, and that worked out. So your webs will look like this, most likely, where you die cut it out and you'll still have pieces in there. Just take your paper snips or you take your pick tool and poke them out. I usually, when I send kits, I will send them not all the way ready. Like I like to send it so you have to poke out these because it makes the paper a little bit stronger and more stable when you have to ship it. I know it's a pain for you to do, and it wouldn't be too hard for me to actually add that step to my prep process, but it does help it to ship better to you. Keep on poking this out. I should have poked all of these beforehand so you guys don't have to watch me do it. That's okay. It's a good time to take a bath and break. All right, get the last piece there. So we have 1 and then we have 2. Sometimes you can even just push it out with your hands and just use the little pieces. These dies are pretty awesome, and our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine has done a great job cutting things out. I know I've had other machines I've used which would have to run it a couple times through because the dies just wouldn't work. They weren't tight enough or sharp enough. I don't know. There we go. We're going to have a nice little web mess here in a little bit. And that's okay. Almost got those last ones. And then we have this one. And this one we're actually going to cut here in just a minute. We're going to cut it in half and then into a quarter. Poke these out. You guys will have to let me know if you send out Halloween cards or not. So I've told you guys probably 1,000 times, but I used to not be a Halloween sender-outer, and I still send out to very few friends. Friends that I know appreciate Halloween and will enjoy a fun card. I love getting them though, oddly enough. So if you make a Halloween card, send it to me. I would love it because I use it for decorations each year. And I have like a collection from Natalie is one that she's really good about sending Halloween cards every year. She's good about sending cards every month. She's just a great card maker and card sender. But Halloween I know is one of her favorites. All right, let me go ahead and push that aside so it's not as messy, and we'll get ready to get our spider's webs. Let's go ahead and cut this one. So just go straight. You'll see there's, let's see how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 sections. So we can go find a half and cut across. And then take that half and cut that into quarters. Just like that. Awesome. Let's go ahead and glue on our spider webs now to our card base. Again, you don't need a lot of glue, just little dots. And some of the, like this center dot is awesome spot to have it. Maybe on the ends, just a little dot. And a couple of the middles. Okay. We're gonna put one on the top right. And lay it, press down to make sure it holds. If you don't want to hold it there, you just grab a block and put it on top of it to let it dry. And then we'll go on to the next web. Again, dots. This is what's great about my silicone mat. I totally miss and have it on there. And it's okay, this wipes off beautifully. All right, let's go ahead and get this one. This one I'm actually gonna have come up a little bit higher than my first one. So right there. So this one I had pretty low. We'll put that spot over it, but I wanna have this bottom one be down in the very, very corner, slash bottom. Again, just a little bit of dots. And we'll flip this over and put it in this corner here. Use your clear block. There we go. Our weight. It's like a paperweight, which is such a thing of the past. I know a lot of offices probably don't have paperweights anymore. Craft rooms should though, right? And it's nice that we could just use our clear blocks as our paperweights. All right. So now we have this one. We'll put in this corner. And I actually need to attach that. I might be able to get away with it. Before, when I did this, my first one, I attached this center piece first, and then I added the web to it. So we'll have that one, and then maybe we'll just have a little bit of showing through here. You even cut that into, this one I cut into, let me get it back in screen. This one has an 1/8 of the spider web. And that's not even a quarter, so that can be cut down even more if you wanted to. Okay, let's go ahead and see if this is dried, and we'll flip it over and add our dimensionals to the back there. I'm just gonna put them to help kind of keep that glimmer paper on and kind of overlap both the white and the black paper there. There we go. Flip it and attach to our card. Skip this part over. Come. And we'll put it right about there. It looks good. Awesome. Let's attach our Happy Halloween. Remember, we have dimensionals on the back of it, but just the mini ones. Let's have this go over the tree just a little bit as well, and covering up that last spider there. Then you should have a piece of ribbon, and you're just going to tie it into a knot. And we're going to make kind of like a fake bow with it. And we'll set that right there. Take your 2 ends to trim it. It kind of looked like a bat to me because it's, you know, this Halloween theme we have going on. And there's lots of cute bats in the stamp set and the dies. But I thought a cute little ribbon here with that glitter. Let's grab a glue dot. Oh, there we go. And we're just gonna put the knot to the dot and pinch it off and stick it down. Super cute. You can even put it behind your label if you want. Love it. So that's a fun way to make that background. That one took a little bit more time than the first two, but totally worth it with that great fun look we've created. All right, our last one. Let's clean up just a little bit. I'll just kind of set things, wipe it out. There we go. Our last one has lots of detail and is pretty fancy. When I first saw this one, I thought they had used like the masking like we did earlier with our ink, but that's just a piece of white web glued on. But we are gonna make this awesome night sky, and we have that fun embossing folder that we've used as well. Let me grab all these pieces and we'll get started. Okay, so grab your bone folder. Let's fix this. Make it nice and flat. It's our card base. Then we have our embossed brick gorgeous grape, and that is just amazing. Isn't that, don't you love how it looks like it's really is 3D? It is called a, I think, brick 3D embossing folder. Super cool. All right, so we're gonna attach the ribbon for real this time. Last time we just did a knot. This time we're gonna attach it, and we're gonna just need a little bit of adhesive on both ends. This is my Seal Plus. And what I like to do is attach it starting on one side, and then I can wrap it around and attach it to the glue on the other side. Maybe, let's see if I lined it up right. Okay, that side to this side. And squish it down, there we go. Add some liquid glue to the rest of it, and we'll attach it to our card front. There we go. And there is a piece of basic white for the inside, because that is the basic black for our card base. So we want to make sure that we have something to write. I'm just using a little bit of the seal on each corner. And then we'll place that in the inside there. Okay, so that should be ready for us to attach things to in just a minute. I have our basic white piece here and our basic black mat. We're going to use this to do our sponging onto. And this piece here, you should have a long piece. This is what we're going to glue our Happy Halloween to. And if you have pieces that are still stuck, take your paper snips and just poke out those pieces. There we go. Let's go ahead and glue this one so it gives us some time to let that dry, and then we'll fussy cut that out. So the Word Wishes is a die set that has all different type of holidays. So Valentine's Day is in there, Merry Christmas is in there. So if you like these type of letters that are already, or words that are combined like this, then I highly recommend that one. Okay, almost got it. These little pieces there. Okay, we'll call that good. We'll flip it over and let's add our adhesive. Let's see if you can get it back in the view so you see again. Again, this one you could just do dots instead of over every spot of it. Make sure you just get those a middle, end, and beginning of each of the words, though. And when you place it on your paper, you want to make sure you give yourself enough space to cut around it to give that kind of bubble look to it. Okay. So I'm going to let this dry, and we'll go on to our next step, and I'll come back to this. set that aside and we'll move this out. Okay, let's put this back in the view so you can see it a little bit better. So we are going to make a night sky, and then we'll stamp our spiders and our little cute cat there on the bottom as well. So for this one, you can either use your blending brushes or a sponge dauber. I do recommend the sponge dauber because it is so tiny and it would take a while to do. So I have just our sponge that I've used earlier, and we're going to start with our lightest color. So I have Pacific Point, some ink, and I'm going to leave intentionally a white spot. So if you are worried, you could put a piece of paper over that white spot you want to leave blank. I'm just going to be careful. That's my plan. We'll see how that works out. So we're going to ink up some of that blue. And if you don't want it to be straight on, you could do a dab off a little bit, but just go ahead and go at an angle and go from the center to the top. I like to start with my lightest color first because then I can use the same sponge over again with the darker color next. Okay. Pretty. And we're going to add just a little bit of Night of Navy. And we're going to go a little bit above where we started before because we want some of that blue to still show. And we're going to start doing a darker layer. Again, kind of that rainbow sweeping motion where it's going from one corner to the next. It's looking pretty awesome there. And feel free to go really dark along those edges. Okay. Next, we need to grab, I use basic gray or smoky gray. Let me see. Or smoky slate. Let me grab one. I don't have it at my table, so hold on real quick. Okay, I'm going to use just a little bit of the basic gray. Again, with that same sponge. And we're going to go a little bit on the bottom here. Go. And then I'm going to add the basic black or Memento ink, which is a black color, for our very last part on our sky. Well, a little to the last. I have one more color we're going to add. So when I did this one, I did not do the purple at first, and I added the purple at the very end because I needed it to go along with our purple brick. And so just depends on what colors you're using. We'll do a little bit of black in this corner and this corner too. Give that cool look to it. All right, now we can go ahead and grab our purple sponge that we used earlier, and we can use it again with that gorgeous grape. And we're gonna just do a very, very light sweep of that purple. So ink it, and just kind of very lightly there. More of a blending than it is an actual adding a color. So very lightly and just a little bit. You can kind of see that there. Okay, that sky looks pretty awesome. We're gonna call that good for today. Of course, you could always add more or less, just a preference of how you want yours to look. And we need to add now our spiders and our kitty cat. So for our spider, we want to look like it's coming from this web here, but you gotta be mindful. So I totally covered up that spider there. So I don't want that one to go as low. Oop, and I have a little bit of a halo. There we go. So I'm gonna go right where the sky meets a little bit there. And then we'll have another one I have coming up just a little bit higher up. Oop, see there's a halo on that spot. I didn't wipe that one clean, but hopefully our web will cover that one. grab our cute little kitten. And you want it to be in that white space and give enough space for the words we're going to have on below it. Cute. And I'm trying to make it look like it's looking at the web. And of course, I don't have my spider web ready, so let me go ahead and poke that out. And then we'll attach that to it. So you want to make sure you do this web attaching before we attach it to the basic black mat, because we're going to glue it on and then cut some off. We're going to trim it to size. If I wanted to, I could almost use, ooh, should I switch it up? I have that leftover purple one. Ooh, now that's not a bad idea. Let's do that. Instead of our white web, let's try this purple web. This is what we had used earlier to ink our cool spider one. We do want our silicone mat though, so flip it over, add glue, pick a side to add glue on, mostly on, and then a little bit on the other. So this was once a white piece of paper, you can tell by the back of it, and I've sponged onto it for our first card we made and created this purple web. So I think it'll be awesome. It'll look different, but it will be awesome. So I want to have it just about like that, and we'll cut off all that extra. It's okay if your glue oozes out, it dries clear. It just will be a little bit tacky at first. And I'm making a big glue mess right there. All right, just trim off by flipping it over and cutting off the extra. And get you that for our little corner here too. Awesome. Okay, let's glue that to our basic black mat. And we'll just attach it like that and move it around, so you can see I'm not lined up. There we go. That's what I love about liquid glue, is that I can move it after at least really quickly after. There we go. Okay. Now we can go ahead and put dimensionals on the back of this one and attach it to our card front. And then we just need to fussy cut our Happy Halloween. Flip it, and oh my goodness, that purple web, what a difference, right? Oh, you should have another little piece of that ribbon. We're gonna carefully slide that underneath one end, and we are going to tie a knot there and do a little knot bow. These have become quickly my favorite kind of bows to make, the fake bows, because they look great without a whole lot of work. We'll just trim off those ends. Super cute. And then we just need to grab our Happy Halloween. All right, this takes a little bit of skill and patience, but it's not too bad. So we're just gonna go from our center of our scissors. So don't cut all the way down, and just go around and kind of make like a bubble. Do you remember making bubble letters when you were little? Just giving it an extra outline. There were some dies that we had for a little bit there that actually made, I think it was last holiday catalog, that had like the Mary, had bubble letters with it. And I think Happy has had a couple of bubble letters. I'm sure there's a better term to use for that, but. So we're just gonna make our own by gluing on to a white and then cutting around it. And you can get as close as you want or as detailed as you want. I like to kind of make kind of like a pretend curve, so I'm not really following it, but just it looks like I'm following the lines. And it goes pretty quickly. Cut that part off because it's in the way. So I could leave that like that, or I can go into it just a little bit more by turning the paper and not my scissors. There we go. There's our Halloween, and now we just need some happy. It'd be really cool if you were to flick some Wink of Stella on this one as well, and I just might kind of give like that star look to it. We have spiders here year-round in California. Funny, they like the weather too, so here they stay. And versus, you know, other places that get winter, when snow, they will leave you. They will go and hibernate until spring. Now we have spiders here year-round, and they always make these amazing masterpieces at night. And if you are walking in the dark in the morning, you don't realize their masterpiece has been made until it is all over your face or in your hair. I almost feel bad because it wasn't there the night before, and you know they must have stayed up all night long to make that gorgeous web of theirs. And then I just walk right into it. All right, we're almost done with this bubble fussy cutting. There we go. Now we just need to add some dimensionals. Oops, sorry. You guys got a corner shot to my dining area. I'm so sorry. And we just need dimensionals to the back. And I want to use the mini ones again. Let me see if I can find some. Typically, I would use my mini white, but I don't have any nearby, so we're just going to go with our mini black, and that'll be fine. Oh, thanks, Kelly. She says the sky is perfect. The night sky. Oh, I do love it. Okay, so we want to put our happy on first. We're going to have it kind of on and off this by the spider there. There we go. And then we're going to add our Halloween. Yes, the purple spider web. Kind of just tied it all together, didn't it? I liked the white too because it's very like contrast, but that purple, ooh, that is pretty. All right, that's the last of our cards. Let me get all the cards back in so you can see what we made with our focus of spider webs. So we had those two with our Happy Halloween and our sponging. Then we use our spider webs as a background here. And then we cut our spider web and made a cute little boo card for our corners there. And our first card was super simple, and we did a sponge spider web by tracing the outline or keeping the web there and then sponging around it to make that beautiful, beautiful web. All right, you guys, I hope you've learned something new today, that you are ready and excited for Halloween. I would love to hear what you're gonna be or how you're gonna celebrate Halloween this year. Have a wonderful week, you guys, and happy stamping, everyone. Goodbye.